Welcome to the Louisville, Indianapolis Proximity Association Football Contest, aptly named LIP FC, from Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville. Gorgeous day as these two Central Division foes are getting themselves ready for lights cam action. Lou City taking on Indy 11 and joined by the legend Thomas Rongen, Mike Watts on hand. You think about the last time these teams met, it was over 1,000 days of futility for Indy 11 against their biggest rival. And the Brickyard Battalion that came to Louisville got what they were looking for. Early goal from Corbin Bone. Jordan Hamilton bagged 2 penalties. That's that.
Yeah, and Corbin Bone, so important for this team, assist-wise, but also picking his goals at the right time. But you're right, it was Jordan Hamilton time, the Canadian international, getting dragged down there, Mike, stepping up and making it 1-1.
Hamilton would deliver here. Arteaga would get in behind the back line again later. Hamilton would deliver a second penalty. May 29th, mark it in the book. Indy 11-2, Louisville City 1. Since that time, we've seen Martin Rennie leave the franchise. More on that in a moment. For Louisville, this is a side that comes off a really scintillating run of form, right?
Scintillating? Olympico right there, Mike. And they're drawing up, they claimed. And then the young Gomez as well, getting on the scoreboard. You're right, scoring fast, furious, and often. The foul here, Lancaster stepping up. And for Denny Cruz, 6-point week so far.
So far, in another game here tonight, Lancaster not available, so all eyes on Corbin Bone. He is our Commonwealth Credit Union player to watch, bettering lives in the communities they serve for 70 years. Learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Meanwhile, Indy 11, last time out, finally a win. It was a bit of a negative stretch there. Martin Rennie leaves the franchise, and in steps Max Rogers. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Going back to a back four, getting tighter defensively, allowing, though, Kansas City picking this game, but Wilde going wild. The German going around the goalkeeper and making that a win after 3 straight losses.
He's got a goal and 3 assists this year, spent time in Atlanta, and it seems like for Indy, he's beginning to percolate at the right time. If Indy 11's looking to go on the road, it may be Wilde indeed going wild. We've got lineups at kickoff coming up here in Louisville, Kentucky. You know it. This is the rivalry to end all rivalries. It's the Louisville Indianapolis Proximity Association Football Contest coming up next.
If you're deciding between a Toyota or a Honda, you gotta run the numbers. This stylish Corolla beats Honda Civic with 169 horsepower. Corolla Hybrid crushes Civic at 52 miles per gallon. And with 4 exciting Camrys, including a road-gripping all-wheel drive, which you can't even get on a Honda Accord, it's no wonder Camry is #1. Now when you run the numbers, get $1,000 customer cash on any new 21 Corolla, or a 21 Camry, or lease Camry for just $229 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
You know, interest rates are still low.
That's low. Like really low.
Exactly. Which means your dream of buying a house might finally come true. A house you can wake up in each morning, raise your family in, improve as you go, or even build from scratch. So whether it's your first house or your dream house, let's make it home with full home lending from Commonwealth Credit Union. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
How does one become invincible?
Without the suit, I can't stop Cersei. Say the magic words. I am gonna have backup.
Batwoman, season finale this Sunday at 9/8 Central, only on the CW.
Bazinga. Bazinga.
WBKI After Hours start with 10 o'clock Big Bang.
Welcome back, everybody. Players making their way down the stairs from the club level. You do see some Racing Louisville jerseys up there, too. Louisville City, Indy 11. Set to meet here at Lynn Family Stadium, joined by Thomas Rongen, Mike Watts on hand. A chance to look at tonight's starting lineups there, presented by Hometown Pizza. We've been told Cameron Lancaster picked up a knock in training yesterday. Should be available moving forward. Not in the 18 today. Greg up front.
Yeah, and that's obviously a huge loss. 5 goals on the year, but all on set pieces, quite frankly. And Danny Cruz has made his rotations in that front three, Mike. That's where the changes are as well. That core back four is still there.
Meanwhile, for Indy 11, under Max Rogers, they went from a 3-back under Martin Rennie to a 4-back, but there's such a small runway, we don't really know how this is going to play.
No, we certainly don't, but you know what? They came up with a great win. You got Edwards in his first start, by the way, the goalkeeper, which is also a change, which they do, and you got Wilde up front. That's the key, attacking.
Edwards comes into the lineup. Jordan Farr is unavailable, so they've brought in Eric Dick to be the backup goalkeeper on loan. This is a solid crowd tonight. Stadium holds at its very max, about 15,000. Should be 10,000 plus this evening as Louisville and Indy set to square off here in Kentucky. Look at the watch under the eyelash lights. And we are underway in the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. Louisville City, Indy 11. Critical points on the line here in the Central Division.
Yeah, 6 points game, Mike. Without a doubt, if you look at the standings, huge game for both teams.
Mike Watts, Thomas Rongen for the call of this one. Louisville sitting in second in the Central. They're breathing down Birmingham's neck right now with 3 consecutive wins. Memphis, Birmingham, and away to Tulsa over the course of the last week and a half. And you get the sense from Danny Cruz, if you can extend this to 4, 9-point week, that's about as well as you could go right now.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's done a great job with this team, managing this roster, pushing them through all these adversities in terms of a lot of games in a short amount of time.
Ownby streaks down the line, cuts back for Del Piccolo, and driven out by Neville Hackshaw.
Yeah, interesting to see Del Piccolo, Ownby. Danny Cruz played in the World Cup for me when I coached him in 2009 in Egypt, so I'm familiar with some of these guys. And Ownby just shows you what he can do with and without the ball to get behind that back four.
It's a Vivify corner kick for Niall McCabe. McCabe goes short. The turn by Gibson. Attempt to slide that further. Cut across towards Sharpie. Knotted down by Akil Watts. This will get away. This portion of the match is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Tosh. You know, to take fans behind the curtain, we spoke to Danny Cruz in the lead up to this match, and usually you're the first one on the call, Thomas, but, you know, everyone else had arrived before you, and our producer, Abe, goes, hey, Thomas is going to be on the line in a minute. And Danny goes, oh, I don't know who Thomas is. I go, Thomas Rongen? He goes, oh, my goodness, that man made my career with that U20 World Cup.
Danny didn't start playing until he was 12 years old. He played ice hockey, and he played soccer that way, too.
Blew me away.
Brilliant for a team that was very technical at that time. To have a guy that was, he started for me in all 3 games. We got out of group play, lost against Germany eventually, and here he is at 31 being an interim coach. Well done, Danny Cruz.
And the technical director as well. Tosh will roll this back. And that's Sharpie. In possession, this sure looks like a 4-back.
Yeah, it does. With the young Gomez on the left, Watts on the right, 2 great center backs. He's got 3 to make 2, as Danny said as well. He's got 3 very equally quality center backs that he can rotate at any given time.
This is Alexi Sawahi to the bench. This is lost by Hackshaw.
And Max Gomez made some big adjustments too in order for them to win that first game after 3 straight, going back to a 4 with Moon, Cochran, Hackshaw, you just mentioned, on the left as well, building some security. Edwards, his first start, gets a win, the goalkeeper, and it's his second game, so both interim coaches would like to make this permanent in this huge derby, as you said, Mike. great stadium. And also lovely to be on with one of the class acts, this play-by-play, Mr. Watts.
Oh.
And we know some people who's coming. Frankie Lopez.
Yeah.
Let's drop some names here.
One of my favorites.
I played with Frankie indoors for the Chicago Sting when Willie Roy was the coach. Karl-Heinz Granitza.
This is pushed forward by McCabe. Comes to Ownby. Ownby drops back. Curling ball get out in the Estopinal end.
Yeah, and the front three will interchange and give the back four different looks, Mike.
Tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program for Louisville. Keep on trucking.
Yeah, important, as we said, 6 points in the last 2 games. Could make it 9. Right, the hot hand was initially Cameron Lancaster, but they got some other hot hands, be it Ownby, McCabe, and Greg, and Corbin Bone that we featured. Find a better balance. That's for Max Rogers, the big key right now. The -1 in goal differential, Mike, but he solidified the back. They got to win as well. Can he get into the plus category within the next 2 or 3 games?
Indy looks forward to a home game against Birmingham and then a 2-game road swing through Atlanta and OKC. You could argue that's the 2 top teams in the division they'll see here back-to-back, and then some really winnable games. Ownby, entry into the 18, rips this across, and the little back heel chips in. Louisville grabs the opener. Del Piccolo standing in front of goal. 5 minutes in, Louisville ahead.
And Brian Ownby just has really torched that back four on the left and on the right. And one of his great ability, Mike, is with the ball at his age still to get past people. I had Ownby also in my under 20 camps. His speed with the ball was incredible. And the acceleration, every time he's at 100%, no, he goes to 110. Here he goes, whoop, whoop, end line. And then any ball in, could be an own goal or could be a little redirect by, you said, was it Del Piccolo? Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right, Mike. Anytime you've seen, 8 or 9 own goals in the Euros? When you penetrate end line, you play hard balls across, anything can happen with good late runs from your own teammates and defenders being flat-footed.
Pressure from Gregg, driven away by Edwards. That goal presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. For now, it's Del Piccolo's goal, but Opta surely will go back and take a very hard look at the slow motion.
In fact, you caught that. If it was a back heel or a slide touch there, it's brilliant. He goes so hard near post. He knows the ball comes across. He's moving. Defenders are flat-footed, and then it only takes a redirect sometimes in order for them to get up. And well-deservedly, though, they've been on the front foot from the opening minute.
Bone long beyond McCabe. And when we spoke to Danny Cruz this week, he indicated that in the FC Tulsa game, that was a major point of contention within the team the Thursday, Friday leading up to it. They bagged 3 goals inside 10 minutes.
Yeah, and again, I mean, why not? And Danny Cruz, if I know Danny Cruz, that's the way Danny played as well. Aggressive, on the front foot, being proactive. And that's what his team is showing in the last few games, particularly against Tulsa. And now again, scoring early at home and putting the pressure right back on in the 11, where Max Rogers now has to say sooner or later, I got to make some adjustments.
For what it's worth, the first goal scored today was going to be the 10,000th in USL Championship history.
Oh, give it to Del Piccolo, please.
No. Stavros Zarakostas for Charleston got one first.
Oh, no. Sorry. 10,000 goals. That's pretty incredible.
That's not bad, right?
Talking about milestones, yep.
You were saying coming into this game, you thought Charleston had a goal in them in the first half hour. You were right.
We called it. Yeah, we called it.
Into the shadows. Ayoze rolls outside here. It's Law. Cut out for Hackshaw, who drives a curling cross. Header is in. Indy equalizes. Cammy Smith. 1-1.
very good build-up. Ayose, Law involved. They get the overlapping Hackshaw with that great cross. And again, 2 or 3 players crashing that box. Well-manufactured build-up there, using 3 or 4 stations, allowing Hackshaw to get there without the ball. First time ball in, and then what a brilliant finish, Mike, as you said, by the number 8, Smith, to get back to 1-1.
And the Scottish midfielder grabs a goal in the 9th minute. Scored 6 in the Scottish Championship a year ago. Not only his 24th professional goal over the course of a decade, it's his first in Indy.
And he'll take it. So does Max Rogers, their new interim coach, in his 2nd game. What a good response, Mike, on the road against Indy that really was pushing the issue, so to speak. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with some good combination play between Ayose, Law, and the overlapping Hackshaw, with the late run of Smith coming out of deep midfield. The ghosting run, Mike, are always tough to mark. Brilliant finish off the header.
By the way, you mentioned interim coach 2nd game. Max Rogers, who holds a UEFA A, B, and Elite Youth A license, joined the club the last week of April to fill out the technical staff. And remarkably, less than 2 months later, Martin Rennie leaves the franchise, the longest tenured coach in Indy 11 history, and Rogers takes over as the interim.
Yep.
On B.
What a good matchup this is, by the way, on both sides of the ball. Get the goal scorer versus the assistment right there. Left fullback versus Ombi. Hackshaw, obviously, great duel.
Gibson, who was an Ironman last year for Indy 11, 12 in Louisville black tonight. Onby. Watts overlapping. Bone. Bone will do this himself. It's a long run for McCabe. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products, special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com.
Yeah, you got a true American in Danny Cruz, and a Scottish Sid Meyer, former scout in Max Rogers. Spent some time at the Orlando City Academy as well. Assistant coach at St. Louis for 2 years, and here he is, the front seat in one of the better franchises historically in this league.
Yeah, Max Rogers in St. Louis, both under Anthony Pulis, also under Steve Tritchu. Pulis abruptly leaving at the tail end of the 2019-2020 offseason.
Yeah,
so
Tritchu,
who's brought in to be essentially an academy guy, joins as head coach, and Tritchu saw that all the way to the playoffs, including ousting Indy from the playoffs right at the end of last year. So if you can't beat them, join them. This is offside for Del Piccolo.
Yeah, they're always trying to penetrate. They always have good runners. It's not just the front three. It's the guys coming out of deep midfield, like Corbin Bone, like Del Piccolo right now, making those late runs. This one is caught offsides because that back four, very smart, hold their line, stepped a little bit. And if you anticipate that long ball and you're smart and you're well connected, you communicate well, Mike, then and you step as a group, then it's 99 to 100 times it's offsides. So well done at that back four.
A.J. Cochran drives that away. Newcomer in from Phoenix over the offseason. Onby. Onby working on Hackshaw, one of the league's best defenders. You made it seem at age 30 like Brian Onby was walking up the hill in the snow both ways. Watts for Onby, and there's Hackshaw. Headed forward for Arteaga, the Venezuelan. Tosh leaning over the top and recovered by the goal scorer, Cammy Smith. Wilde. Well done by Bone.
Yeah, that makes Bone so special. He does so many little things right on both sides of the ball.
Gomez will continue to gallop forward, and let's fly! Jonathan Gomez, 2 goals in as many games. And he's quite zen in front of 10,000 screaming partisan fans. 2-1 Louisville.
We saw last week what this 17-year-old left foot is. It's cultivated. He's struck from distance. This time again, he gets his head up. He doesn't hesitate. He gets a deflection, which is fortunate, obviously. But you know what? I like the way this kid is playing, and Greg Berhalter is saying, you know what? We don't have a lot of depth on that left side. Why not include this kid in that Gold Cup roster? Not sure if he gets there in the end, but clearly speaks volumes about the progress of the USL at a whole, that players like this get opportunities to play at a professional level and showcase week in, week out that, hey, he can defend, but even more so, he's even better going forward from deep positions. Deserving up 2-1.
That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. It appeared that shot came off of Carl Ouimet in front of goal, which certainly caused the delayed reaction from Bobby Edwards, who is the first goalkeeper in the last 3 games to not wear a visor or a baseball cap in goal with that sun pouring over the scoreboard. Well, Smith scored in the 9th to equalize. Louisville scored in the 6th and the 14th.
It's been a stellar game. 3 goals through 15 minutes. But outside of that, some other opportunities. Both teams trying to build out of the back. Both had the opportunity to stretch an opponent and get at them fast with the players like Unby, for instance, but also on the other side with Wilde, Hackshaw, and Law. There is some attacking prowess on both sides, and clearly a display through that first 15 minutes, which has been one of the better games I've seen in the last few weeks on any level.
And we've only just begun.
I know.
This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Watts.
And there's really an overload on the right side by Louisville, Mike. Watts gets in those positions, the right fullback. Omri just tries to go there. Bone ends up in those positions. And they try to create 3v2s, 4 versus 3s, and then make a decision. Do we cross, do we go end line, or do we combine or go from distance, as Gomez just did late? So many different ways that this Louisville team can hurt you. And I can see now why they're on a run under Denny Cruz, who inspires players. I know Denny. Denny's one of those guys that most players say, I love to play for this coach.
And yet I've talked to people who've played against him, and they say, I hate his guts.
Yep.
Which is the kind of team I think he's in some ways trying to cultivate. You don't want to play Louisville. Took over for John Hackworth after game number 1 against Atlanta United, a victory. Ownby dancing, watch out. Ownby, that deflects back. McCabe, Bone, swings over, Del Piccolo. A return from Ownby. There's a little confidence exuding right now in the possession here.
And you got 3 or 4 players that's so comfortable in the ball. Del Piccolo and Corbin Bone rarely lose possession, always make the right decisions, and then the penetration and the speed of Ownby right here makes it for a very tough team to defend.
Hackshaw's clearance.
And Danny talked to us about, you know, we like to stretch him, and then we want to go centrally. That's where we feel spaces will lie for us as well. And they've done both. They've gone out wide, they've come centrally and combined and been successful, and they've struck balls from distance. Because anytime when you get those 3 or 4 guys that always put a back four under duress, then there will be chances from 20, 25 yards out that Gomez took advantage of. Good game plan by Denny Cruz, by attacking this Indy team in a variety of different ways that makes them, as I said again, very hard to defend.
So if you're Indy, how are you adjusting right now?
To be real honest with you, you got to match their intensity, and I think you got to play higher up the field, and you got to press that back 4. Don't let them get into your final third too early.
Law unleashing Ioze. That ramped up off the deflection, and Hubbard will watch this escape the end line.
And it's a tough one, Mike, because again, with Ombi, they got pace to hurt you also. So if your line is really high, they can hurt you behind you with deep runs from Del Piccolo as well. But that's the gamble I think you should take if you were Max Rogers and say, you know what, let's put some pressure on Moon, Cochran, and Hackshaw in the back, or sorry, Gomez, Watts, and Tush in the back, and see if we can turn balls over further away from our goal and get in transition after this team.
Gordon Wilde, who is a second-round pick of Atlanta out of Maryland, drives all the way through. There was a multitude of players who could have gotten a touch to that. Rolls back to Moon.
Good ball in.
Moon, that's Hackshaw! Another goal inside 20 minutes, it's 2-2. An assist and a goal for Neville Hackshaw.
Unbelievable. Second phase attack, Mike. Wilde puts that first one in the outswinger, getting away from the goalkeeper. Good hard runs are being made. They keep it alive. And all of a sudden, Hackshaw finds himself in a brilliant position. First the assistman, knew he scores, by the way. And that's your left fullback. Moon with a good ball in. Hackshaw even with a better finish. First time inside of the foot, steers that one across the goal. Wow, we got a game, baby. And we talked about matchups, Omri versus Hackshaw, you know. You're going, okay, who's got the better of the other one? That's the left fullback versus your right winger of the opposing team. Hackshaw's got a goal and an assist, Omri. You got only an assist. Wow.
Hackshaw is such a sturdy defender, and he's been doing this for a long time in Charleston and coming into Indy, always in conversation for all league. And in a three-back, so often he's anchored deeper on the field.
Great point, Mike.
You could argue in this four-back system, you've unleashed a whole new weapon.
Max Rogers, well done. Identified some of the things they needed to get better at. The plus-minus, I think it was 8 goals, 9 against, or maybe 9 and 10.
9 and 10,
So he's trying to turn that a little bit by being more balanced. But out of a 4, you allow Hackshaw and Moon to go forward. Because Moon actually, that's the right fullback, Mike, has the assist on Hackshaw on that second goal as well. Those are your fullbacks who normally in a 3 don't have the ability to go forward. You're right. Good point.
Here's Gomez, a fullback who scored today. Swung across by McCabe. The clearance as far as Del Piccolo. Ball across again for Greg. This is not the game you want to watch if you're a defensive-minded coach. But if you're a neutral, you've already fallen in love with this, and the next 70 minutes promise to be a treat.
Absolutely.
Louisville and Indy have been tit for tat these past couple of years. Eastern Conference Final in 2019 at the Mike. These teams were battling all 2020 in a super competitive group with Kansas City and St. Louis. Indy leapt out in front of everybody, came back to earth, and ultimately landed with a thud in 3rd place, missed the postseason. Louisville ended up winning the group, going back to the Eastern Conference Final, and falling to the Tampa Bay Rowdies at home. But it's hard to find much more class personified on a pitch in the USL Championship than this. And last time these Indy 11 fans came here, they gave them a pitch side seat. They've gone to the MLS model of moving them into the upper deck this time around. But it is one of the all-time great rivalries already in its young history in this league. The Lipa FC, as it's affectionately described. Recovered here, Del Piccolo forward. Watch out, Sean Tosh. Long way from home for Ownby, who slashes it back out. Tosh with the deflection, this will get out. Also the subject of tonight's trivia question, brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. Who scored a hat trick +1 in Lip FC in 1860?
Can I answer that or not?
You could, or you can wait.
Okay, I'll wait then.
Okay.
I do know the answer, but I don't want to.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, let people chime in a little bit, because that was a huge game, Mike. I remember that.
Vivify corner kick here for Gomez. Gomez delivers. There's an appeal there for a handball from multiple Louisville players, and there are 2 Indy players down. That's Arteaga on one side.
Yeah, never a good look, Mike, and well done by the referee. Anytime players are down now with potential head injuries, trainers should be coming on. And anytime there's big bodies in the 18-yard box, those things could potentially happen. Everybody's jostling for positions. Everybody's powerful and strong and want to attack those balls coming in. And defenders want to be brave, obviously, and win those battles as well. I've been there and done that.
Yeah, Arteaga's up. It's the other player who remains down here. You got to give a lot of credit at this stage for the progressive approach, not only in USL Championship and US Soccer, but from FIFA as we met is helped back up, and they're already undergoing some of the concussion tests, and don't want to assume beyond that, but head injury prevention and treatment. There's the collision.
Yeah, there's 2 guys trying to stay with some very aggressive runners. And just collided against each other, and we hope that both are okay going forward. And talk about the concussion protocol now and concussion syndrome that we've talked about in soccer, thank God, more often through a Taylor Twellman.
Yep.
And others as well.
So Met's jogging around the line. He's going to have to be allowed back in by the referee. There's another Vivify corner coming here in the 26th minute.
And anytime you got a cultivated left foot, which it is here in Gomez, obviously, those balls come in so hard. And there is contact. And picks are being set nowadays. A lot of coaches take something from the NBA now, you know, where you set hard picks just to free one guy up if possible.
Gomez delivers. Header steered wide. Del Piccolo the target. Let's go back to the trivia question here. It's brought to you by Tony's Break in Alignment. You knew that, right?
Yeah, of course, Johnny Albatross, that's my man, O'Rourke. In 1816, I was still fiddling with those ears on top of my TV, you know, to get the right stream. That was a hell of a game. That went into OT, 4 goals as well. 1860.
Arrowhead Aponte is actually the great-great-grandfather of our producer for this game. The more you know. Typically, we will go back to trivia questions that actually occurred. That's next week. But the Lip FC brings the best out of us all.
Look at the crowd. You know, it's wonderful. And it's been, as you explained, Mike, such a great rivalry.
And it's early, right? And sometimes in America, we're trying too hard to make something out of nothing. But if you look in the upper deck right now, you see a large Indy 11 flag hanging, and a lot of folks that made a couple-hour drive to get here.
Derbies are not born in 1 year or 2 years for that matter. They get cultivated over years. It goes all the way back to 1860, Mike. You know, you're talking about many years of this. Incredible games have been played. I think this is Louisville's, 8th new stadium since the last 2 centuries.
And Indy's still at the mic. Leading ball down the right-hand side. Could there be another one here? This will deflect away. Arteaga making that wayward run down the right-hand side. Corner, Indy 11.
Yeah, and you're right, Indy 11, just brilliant. When they pick their spots going forward, there seems to be always time and space for them, and they've been good in set pieces. The big boys come forward again, Mike, right now. The cultivated foot of Mr. Wilde. Let's see what happens.
Wilde. Perhaps looking for Cochran. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Georgia's Sweet Potato Pie Company, winner of Louisville City's Minority-Owned Business of the Month. Hackshaw, Ownby.
I got a feeling these guys are going to be attached to the hip pretty much.
And is it proximity breeds contempt?
It seems that way. Okay, you can assist. I'll score one. You wake me? All right, I'll kick you too. Great matchup, actually, to watch.
Smith rolls this forward. It's Wilde sprinting into the attack. Wilde will come over this a second time, and again, Gibson pays the price. This is not the same Indy 11 team that Tyler Gibson left. 16 new players, part of the Indy 11 roster, and only 10 returned in total.
Now, Wilde is so good. You can almost call him like an advanced playmaker with goal-scoring instincts. He's still better in the assist areas, obviously. Picked a good goal last week, obviously, for them to win, or in the last game. He's such an elusive player, hard to mark, always plays in between the lines, in the half spaces.
There's that man again. Came in having not contributed to any goals this year. That's one of both goal and assist variety at this point.
And it's a little bit better by Indy 11. Just relieve some pressure, get Heckshaw and your fullbacks going forward. It means that Omby now has to defend for long stretches and has to come 50 or 60 yards. This game has been excellently executed, by the way, from a technical standpoint. Both coaches putting their teams in positions to be productive, which they've been with 4 goals total, and some exceptional individual play that we've seen as well. We talked about 2 of them.
Gomez, Wilde, hot on his heels. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community through the Forever Proud project. The USL will strive to create safe, welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. You can learn more at uslsoccer.com/forever-proud. Ownby crossing, punched away by Edwards. Law shakes the challenge. Recovered here by Sharpie. Akil Watts. There's going to be a card here to Corbin Bone, who caught Smith away from the ball. And maybe perhaps far enough away from the ball that we may not even have a good look at it.
Yeah, we did not see that, but you're absolutely right, Mike. We did follow the ball, so something happened off the ball with Corbin Bone.
Referee has shown a Vivify yellow card first of this match, and it belongs to Corbin Bone, his first card this season. You know, I remember talking to John Harkes while Corbin Bone was still at FC Cincinnati. He said the nuanced movement, the simplicity and yet complexity of his ability to touch the ball to the right place almost every time. There's a card that comes out here as well.
Looks like it's Smith, the number 8. Which right now we're only guessing.
That's a Vivify yellow card. We'll be frank, that's an odd one. If the USL Discipline Committee wants to see these, I'm not sure they're going to get a view.
And going back to Corbin Bone, when Corbin was at Wake Forest and played for me, the under-20 team, so it's many moons ago for Corbin and myself, I would say the exact same things. He's so far ahead at his age in terms of being able to find players around him with a level of simplicity, intelligence, and field awareness was brilliant.
Look at all this space opening up for Wilde. Wilde is racing through horizontally atop the 18, and Ownby goes at Hackshaw. Zioze reaching a more advanced age and yet continuing to be, when he's on the field, one of the more dynamic ball strikers in the league, the 35-year-old from Spain.
He's really involved in that first goal, where he starts the combination with Law on the outside, allowing Hackshaw eventually to get there. That's the key, you know. One more pass will get your fullback in a better position, and that comes with some risk as well, but there's no better ones than Ayoze to be able to execute those simple passes. We call that family play, to let things develop, and that's not a good sign right there.
Now McCabe, when he released that ball, appeared to sort of wrap his leg around the defender in a way that was really awkward. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe knee to knee.
No, I think he yeah, it looked strange, Mike. I don't know. There was a little knee to knee and a little hyperextension as well of that leg. Again, you don't want to speculate, but anytime a player goes down and grabs the back of his knee a little bit and then the front of his knee, you always worry about MCLs, ACLs, and things like that. It can happen on freak moments, like that, for instance. But it seems to be okay. So that's important. Health of the player.
No, McCabe, who's dealt with some hip injuries that really have held him back. Last year healthy, and so far so good this year. Challenge in there from Ouimet. Not making any friends. Ouimet, part of the 2016 USL Championship winning side at New York. From that, a fifth-third free kick for Louisville City. See the crowd here. There was a far different atmosphere for Louisville's sister club earlier. More on that in a moment. McCabe rolls out here to Ownby. Ownby dancing, serving. There's Hackshaw. I want to talk about an albatross. It's Hackshaw around Ownby right now. Ayoze. Ayoze, clever.
Yeah, that's what he is. At his age, you have to be clever. But left side is really the stronger side. That's where the chances have come from in terms of their build up as well, because you got Law and Ayoze around the ball and a good overlapping on the ball right now. Hackshaw as well.
Head on a swivel from Gibson. Diagonally through. Ownby curling and nearly for Greg. Last-ditch defending from Ouimet, recovered by Edwards.
Yeah, Ouimet reads that really well, because Ownby, again, because of the fact that Hackshaw pushes forward, all of a sudden there is space. And that first ball providing Ownby to go 1v1. Good ball right there. Hackshaw's caught. Now your center backs need to come around. And excellent, because it's all about them positioning and get yourself into passing lanes where potentially runners could come there. So well done between Cochran and Omne, the other center back.
Earlier today, by the way, racing Louisville after about a 2.5-hour delay to kickoff. The NWSL side grabbed their first ever road win today. Ebony Salmon scored in that game. Yuki Nagasato and Savannah McCaskill scored too. 3-0 over Chicago Red Stars. So congratulations to Christy Holly and the racing group that is now well above the playoff line. This is good from Moon. Rolled out by Timmer. On the bounce, Wilde. Worked on McCabe, in goes Del Piccolo. Wilde took over again. Overlap is coming. Instead, quaffed back. Arteaga, back heel, Ayoze.
Arteaga, well done. Wilde as well, keeping stuff alive. They're very good in tight areas, but even better defending there, dropping with Tooch, with Sharpie, Gomez, Watts, Gibson is always there. Even Brian Omby making it very tough. There's still a seam right there from distance, though, for Law to try to finish that one. Or, sorry, I think it was Ayose actually from distance.
4th of July weekend starts with a bang. USL on ESPN continues Saturday, July the 3rd. Golden State clash. San Diego plays host to Sacramento. That's Saturday, July 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN2. And in Donovan's side, since the loss to Louisville, which was the tail end of a 9,116-mile road trip, they were 0-4 at the time, have since gone 6 without defeat, 4 wins, 2 draws, and they're back in playoff position in the Pacific. Ownby lost his footing in a handball as he spun out in front of Law. There's Edwards. 2 starts last year at FC Cincinnati. 19 times he was an unused substitute. 2019 he spent in USL League 2 with Bantams, a native of Parsippany up in New Jersey, a 3-college man. St. Joe's in Philadelphia, on to Monmouth. Finished out at Mount St. Mary's. Starting in goal tonight for Indy for just the 2nd time. Arteaga. This is ushered through. Arteaga's there! Arteaga gives Indy their first lead of the night.
Absolute brilliant interplay, Mike, on that left side again, you know, in that tight space in between back 4 and midfield 4 as well, where Jose always performs well, and this time is the supplier for Arteaga to finish his run up. The build-up, the 1-2, the give and go, absolutely brilliant, and a good finish by your number 9. Sorry, it's actually Smith that's involved in the give and go. Arteaga just finished that one off. And here we are on the road. 3-2 in the 11. Well done.
And if you're Indy 11, falling behind in just 6 minutes, backheel goal from Paulo Del Piccolo. The response to pull level twice and now grab a lead. Max Rogers must be simply overjoyed. The Englishman in just his 2nd game in charge.
And the response has been magnificent. Going down twice and now just before the half, going up 3-2. Huge moment in the game.
Away from Moon. Gomez went down. Well, Ayose is begging for a card for embellishment. And I think at the end, this will be bygones being bygones.
Nothing there, Mike. Absolutely nothing there. And you can see by the body language of Gomez getting back up and not flailing, not looking at the referee. He's trying to sell that one. You could argue it should have been a yellow card against Gomez, but probably a good decision. Play on.
So Edwards has gotten all the support in goal that, frankly, Jordan Farr hadn't gotten. 9 goals in 9 games, and now 3.5 for Indy 11.
Yeah, they're working on their plus minus. They're 0 right now.
They're even.
Well done.
McCabe takes another knock. And he's grappling a bit up to the right side of his head. And Arteaga is trying to check on him, but McCabe not really taking a liking to that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Indy 11 has done a great job on the left side from an attacking standpoint. They've taken Gibson out of the play centrally, and all of a sudden allows him to play 3 versus 2 and combine going towards goal. Arteaga and Smith in the last one, obviously. Great serves on the left side from Hackshaw, met by Smith. And how good is Smith, by the way, been? Goal and assist on the last goal as well. And for neutrals and the Indy 11 fans right now, what a hell of a game.
This has been everything you could hope for to this point.
And just what the doctor ordered for you too, Mike. You were going into your third game, you know, on fumes. and you're alive again, I can tell. Loving every minute of this scintillating game, which is very well played technically and tactically.
Don't get me wrong, every rivalry is going to have its occasional dog. It seems like this rarely, if ever, disappoints when these teams meet. Part of what's put this little derby of sorts into hyperdrive early on. Back heel there, a bit of a slew foot. Gomez will roll wide, and it looks like this is a real injury. You can see that he is screaming to get the athletic trainer on. That's Arteaga, and this looks like a real problem.
Yeah, finished that third goal so well in that give and go with Smith. You never like to see these things. We saw the clash of heads before both players were able to continue. But when a player is summoning the trainer on the field because he feels in extreme duress, no good.
The athletic trainer looks will try and help out here, but that is not a very calm look from Arteaga. 3 added minutes, stoppage time presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. There's Tosh there in the tackle.
Yeah, and Tosh placed the ball, then steps actually in the outside of his right ankle, and that's where the pain is. I think this is more of a contusion, not a turn. I would think, based on what my knowledge is as a former player and coach, that he'll be able to be fine, and that this was just a knock.
And you hope so, because Arteaga, they were really interested in getting him in last year from Venezuela, and simply didn't have the capability due to COVID-19. But it struck me when Martin Rennie said he's got a Daniel Rios profile to him, the guy who played for North Carolina FC and then into Nashville.
That's a huge compliment.
Yes. The guy who scored in the teens, I believe, maybe 18, 19 goals for NCFC.
Yep. And you saw a glimpse there that in the last game, the ease by which he puts that ball away under duress, coming through traffic after he got that ball back from Smith. And just picking his spot basically and saying, boom, here you go, 3-2.
Del Piccolo early. Ownby trying to get around. Edwards goes down. Net is empty. Ayoze arrives, sends this out. And this is going to be a corner. And Edwards is saying Ownby clipped him. Ownby certainly feels like
there is a collision.
More for him.
No doubt about that. But Edwards gets the ball first, Mike. Look at here. There's the ball, there's the contact. Again, that's a play-on situation, although we got to check on both players who are on the ground right now. Ombi's trying to see if he can get a penalty going his way. There is a collision, but I think that Edwards read that ball really well, got a piece of it initially, and then the collision happens with Ombi. If that's the other way around, Ombi first and then ball, then we're talking about a potential penalty, and this doesn't look good either. Again, this is not necessarily because of a rivalry, but there's just a different edge to it. I've been there as a player when I played for Ajax against Feyenoord, which is Amsterdam versus Rotterdam. And I was taught by my father, you hate Rotterdam. And I hated Rotterdam. And when you played them, you kicked them. I said, yes, Dad, I will. and that's the kind of feeling. I know Danny Cruz, and if I know, to a certain extent, the opposing coach, that is part of the 2 or 3 days leading up to this game.
We've gone 3 minutes already. Dick will sit. It appears that Edwards will continue.
That's a good thing right now. We've seen some horror collisions. Everybody's been able to continue so far. Well done.
Corner. Ricochet's around, and Cochran as far as Watts. We very well could see this get past 50 minutes.
Yeah, the key right now is stay at 3-2 for Indy 11, obviously. Get good numbers behind the ball, be proactive in defending, get into halftime with the lead.
Watts. We met. McCabe. Watts. This will fall right onto Del Piccolo. Heavy touch still now, Ownby. Ownby trying to get around Ouimet. In steps Del Piccolo, appeared to come off Ouimet. Now they're saying this is offside.
I think that's something Max Rogers will talk about his team. I think they defend at times way too deep. Yes, they get the offsides going their way right now, but a clearance fell actually for Del Piccolo, almost, you know, saying a gift. There's Denny Cruz obviously getting his guys at 31. Brilliant for him to get an opportunity. And yeah, he'll be in the face of referees and linesmen. That's the way he was as a player as well. They'll love that. Both teams very committed to the plight, and there's not much as a coach with these rivalries, Mike, that you have to talk about. The players understand the way it builds, the way you walk in the stadium, when you see the crowd, depending on if you're home or away. There's always an edge to these games.
Well, this awkwardly falls to Ownby. Came off of Moon. Ownby looking to slice. Still now, McCabe. Well, Edwards is still clearly hobbled.
Yeah, he is.
And he made some effort to get up there and deny Niall McCabe, and the halftime whistle doesn't come a second too soon for Edwards.
Again, Ownby just seems to be involved in everything, and McCabe goes, you know what, why not? On the turn, I know it's close to halftime, just misses.
Well, if Edwards does come out, they don't have to use a substitution window, and so there was value to him seeing out in the final seconds of that first half, but he fell harshly down on his arm on that final shot by Niall McCabe, and it's into the halftime locker room for these two sides. Del Piccolo and Gomez score for Louisville. Equalizers from Smith and Hackshaw. The go-ahead goal from Arteaga. Serve Pro halftime is coming up. Indy 3, Louisville 2, in the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest.
If you're deciding between a Toyota or a Honda, you gotta run the numbers. This stylish Corolla beats Honda Civic with 169 horsepower. Corolla Hybrid crushes Civic at 52 miles per gallon. And with 4 exciting Camrys, including a road-gripping all-wheel drive, which you can't even get on a Honda Accord, it's no wonder Camry is #1. Now when you run the numbers, get $1,000 customer cash on any new 21 Corolla or a 21 Camry, or get a great affordable lease on Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
My live video teller experience was one of a kind. All you have to do is touch the screen and you get a live person. I was blown away, completely blown away. Charlie was the most wonderful teller ever. She walked me through every step. Anything that I need to do is done right there, and it's so quick. It's just instant. Everything's instant. Every question has been answered. Everything is just very smooth. Every transaction has been amazing.
Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
To me, there's just nothing better than grilling some vegetables, some chicken, and watching the clouds grow, tower up. So my mom taught me to respect storms. Every time there was a thunderstorm, we'd go outside, but as soon as it was dangerous, we went in and we took shelter. I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what was happening to protect my family. To WDRB, trust is everything. If there happens to be any sort of thunderstorm action or your life's in danger, we're gonna have someone there giving you the information that you need to know to make sure you and your family are safe. Time to eat.
When we hit the field, it's game on. Louisville City FC is on the hunt for our 3rd star. This is our city, Louisville City. The city of soccer, the city of champions. No matter where you're watching the match, when we take the field, we're doing it for you, for us, and for the city.
Watch Louisville City FC take on Sporting Kansas City 2, July 2nd at 8 on WBKI. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
Welcome to the Serve Pro halftime. Louisville City trailing Indy 11. This has been quite the affair so far. I'm not sure you could ask for much more in terms of action. Today's nuggets of the match are brought to you by Chick-fil-A Kentuckiana. Lou City advanced to the Eastern Conference Final in all 6 seasons of the club's history, hoisting that trophy 3 times, going on to win the USL Championship final in 2017 and 2018. That 2019 final was against Indy 11. Plenty more coming up here at halftime, including a look around the league and first half highlights when the Serve Pro halftime continues from Lynn Family Stadium.
I wasn't going to let anything get in my way of achieving my goals, which were to be a professional soccer player. So the first opportunity I got at preseason, when a teammate asked like if I was dating a girl or something, I just came out to a bunch of my teammates at dinner and said, no, I'm gay. All I needed to do was that one time, because then I didn't lie. Your sexuality should never limit you from playing the sport you love.
Brings it down to his chest. Jordan McCreary has tied it here. Takes a hard strike, saved by Romel Gomez.
Since the beginning of this worldwide crisis, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has been flying essential travelers across the country and around the world. We want all travelers to know that we have implemented processes and procedures to ensure your health and safety. We have nonstop flights to over 30 destinations nationwide and easy connections to hundreds more around the globe. When you need to fly, fly Louisville.
Are you hungry? You should get yourself down to Four Pegs in Germantown. Try some of their delicious smoked brisket, ribs, and wings. We source only the freshest ingredients. And check out our massive beer selection. Join us Saturday and Sunday for our most awesome brunch. Smoked Bloody Marys, ribs, and eggs. And come hang out on our newly remodeled patio. Check us out on social media or at fourpegs.net.
Summer's the time to get away. And when you run the numbers, you'll discover why Toyota SUVs are #1. Like the #1 selling SUV, Toyota RAV4, or this Highlander, with your choice of a powerful V6 or a best-in-class hybrid. Now when you run the numbers, get $750 customer cash on any new 21 Highlander, or 2.9 financing. Get $750 customer cash on RAV4, or a low $209 a month lease, with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. Run the numbers and save. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to the Serve Pro halftime. Well, pups in the park action here. 3-2 Indy over Louisville as the sun sets on a beautiful Kentucky June night. With Thomas Rong and Mike Watts, let's take a look at some news and notes around the league. Cameron Lancaster picked up a knock in training yesterday, not available today. Did score 3 goals, including a pair against Tulsa for Lou City to win Clear Audio Player of the Week. El Paso now 18 on the bounce without a loss. Tremendous start to the season. San Diego and Sacramento are going to meet up Saturday, July the 3rd. You'll see it live on ESPN2. Cameron Lancaster led the way as Player of the Week, but he was far from the only player honored. Jonathan Gomez got his first pro goal last week. He's added another one here today. And Mark Segbers from Memphis stepped into goal due to an injury to the goalkeeper in stoppage time. Made a tremendous sliding save to keep Memphis ahead in a match last weekend as well. A look at the upcoming USL on ESPN schedule, get you caught up on what you will see on national TV. The upcoming schedule is sponsored by COSAIR Charities. Help a child in our community now. COSAIR.org/donate. San Diego, Sacramento. Week later, Oakland and Vegas on ESPN2. Switchbacks in San Antonio will be followed just 4 days later by San Antonio hosting New Mexico United. Thomas, we take a look at the Central Division standings coming into the night. It wasn't necessarily a situation where either team needed to win today, but 3 points go a long way.
Huge game. As it stands right now, Indy 11 will be at 16 points as well, tied for second with Louisville City FC right now. So as it stands at the half, but so much more to play, a huge 6-point game between these two great rivals.
And Birmingham still leading the way in the Central. Louisville's won 3 in a row. Indy looking for a winning streak of their own. 3-2 Indy. Serve Pro halftime continues with highlights next.
Since the beginning of this worldwide crisis, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has been flying essential travelers across the country and around the world. We want all travelers to know that we have implemented processes and procedures to ensure your health and safety. We have nonstop flights to over 30 destinations nationwide and easy connections to hundreds more around the globe. When you need to fly, fly Louisville.
Summer's the time to get away. And when you run the numbers, you'll discover why Toyota SUVs are #1. Like the #1 selling SUV, Toyota RAV4, or this Highlander, with your choice of a powerful V6 or a best-in-class hybrid. Now when you run the numbers, get $750 customer cash on any new 21 Highlander, or 2.9 financing. Get $750 customer cash on RAV4, or a great affordable lease on RAV4, with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. Run the numbers and save. Toyota, let's go places.
Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport is proud to welcome Breeze Airways with 3 nonstop flights to Charleston, Tampa, and New Orleans.
By the middle of the summer, we'll be in 15 cities, really desirable, cool cities like Charleston, Tampa, New Orleans, and with fares, get this, starting at only $39. Chances are we can get you there twice as fast for half the price. Welcome to Breeze, everybody. Come aboard.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
Serve Pro halftime concluding here in Louisville. 3-2 Indy over Louisville City. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights, of which there were many. Mike Watts, Thomas Rongen back with you. And it's going to start mighty early. 6th minute. And Niall McCabe leading the charge. Ownby teeing this up. And, well, we're going to call this a Del Piccolo back heel. Looks like it.
It's actually brilliant now. We can see it for the second. Hey, anytime you can go end line with Ownby's speed, the great hard cross, and the good runs, and Del Piccolo, that's a brilliant goal, by the way.
So nice. We'll look at it thrice. Yes, 1-0 Louisville. It wouldn't last for long. 3 minutes later, Neville Hackshaw sending this across. And the equalizer from Cammie Smith.
Yeah, I mean, great service, hard runs, Mike. And then it's only, you know what, a little knot, and it's 1-1. Brilliant execution of the left fullback. Great run by the central midfielder.
So we're at 1-1. Louisville would answer themselves. Clean play on the ball, so Jonathan Gomez is going to go wheel forward. This will deflect off Ouimet and into the net.
Yeah, but you know what? When you get time and space and you're being attacking left fullback, you go, you know what? Why not? Let's unleash this from distance. Yes, he gets the deflection, but hey, they're up 2-1.
See it ricochet off Ouimet. Edwards can't get there, so 2-1. How about Moon off the volley, knocked in by Hackshaw, 2-2.
Yeah, that was second phase attack that came off a corner, kept alive. Moon, the right fullback, going to his partner on the other side. Hackshaw, the left fullback, goal and assist.
First goal, first assist of the season for Hackshaw. And then the go-ahead goal from Manuel Arteaga gets the give and go going with Smith. Nice finish.
Yeah, very nice finish. Arteaga with the give and go on Smith. And it's simple but effective as well. If you don't stay with runners, which, by the way, the number 6 doesn't do, then you're in trouble because that's a good finish of your number 9.
And Arteaga bags his 3rd goal of the season. Smith now has a goal and an assist, and the Archer hard at work. 3-2. Here's a look at the CNL Heating and Air halftime statistics. 3-2 Indy. The possession in Louisville's favor handily. I think Indy doesn't mind that, though.
No, they don't mind that. On the road, as you said, let's absorb some pressure, which they've done well. Down twice and then coming back and going into the halftime with a 3-2 lead. And you say, you know what? The 6 shots and the 3 goals that are really important to us right now, we're actually better. Some teams are better, Mike, by not having the ball and just going at people on the counter.
To remind you of Louisville City's upcoming schedule, it's sponsored by Corsair Charities. Help a child in our community now. Corsair.org/donate. 2-game road swing coming up away to SKC2, and then continuing that trip 8 days later at Tulsa. Then home games against the cellar-dwelling OKC Energy. New coach there as well. And Atlanta United, who've replaced their coach. 3 teams in the division, plus Louisville, half the division, has a new coach than they started with this year.
Pretty insane. And I've been there, Mike. Fired, hired during the season. I know what it feels like for a guy to leave and for another guy to come in, as we see today.
Staggering, and then away to Colorado Springs. First time those teams will have met. Here's the upcoming schedule for Indy 11, and that game against Birmingham is starting to loom larger and larger if Indy can pick up 3 points tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. Birmingham, the team still to catch, obviously first place in the division as well. Some great games coming up for all 3 or 4 fighting for those playoff positions.
So Louisville has made a change here at halftime. They've brought in Pat McMahon at outside back to try and shore things up here. It was a half in which Indy scored 3 goals after 9 goals in their first 9 games this season. And you could argue it was 7 through 8. And now since Max Rogers has taken over, 5 in a game and a half.
So that means Watts came off, you think, Mike?
Would be the logical change?
Yes. And let's be real honest. Two of the 3 goals are coming from the left side. We talked about, obviously, an overlapping fullback of Hackshaw. But the 3rd goal, the combination play as well, Watts doesn't stay with the runners and gets caught. So Danny Cruz making a very practical decision here and saying, hey, that's my weak link defensively. I need to shore it up in order to get back in this game. And we cannot concede or continue to concede so many goals.
Toe steps in. Sub brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Watts out, McMahon on. McMahon, one of 4 players who were switched out of the starting 11 from the last match against Tulsa. Gomez. Off of Moon. In steps Wilde. Gomez wins a free kick. He and Moon go for a 50-50, and there's going to be potentially a card here. Referee is reaching to the pocket, but it appears he's just going to stick to ref edge. Did you know that the Magic Spray had a name?
No, I didn't know that. What is the name?
Ref Edge.
Ref Edge?
Yeah, that's the foam.
Oh, okay. No, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a very limited product in theory, but
it is.
But you always need it. 5th, 3rd free kick here for Niall McCabe to the back post. That's easy for Hackshaw. Still here for Ownby. Not there for McMahon. Good ball forward for Smith. Smith just looking for a different football experience on and off the field. Part of why he made the move over after a lengthy career in Scotland, including coming up through Aberdeen, a pretty prominent club in Scotland.
You see a lot of players, Mike, that I've coached as well in the past, be it in MLS or in the USL with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. You get guys that come from abroad for new experiences that can't just make that leap to, you know, the EPL or whatever, but want to be in a country where they can live comfortably, make a decent living, and enjoy the atmosphere. Look at this here. Full house, 5 goals. How can you not enjoy that experience as well? Juan Guerra being a great example.
Former Indy 11 assistant.
Yep. One of my former players that I brought from Venezuela is thanking me till this day. You've given me hope. He's got 2 children now. They're almost Americans.
Beautiful.
Yep.
This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Sustained possession here from Louisville.
Now, one of the great things about Louisville is that sustained possession becomes dangerous possession as well, because sooner or later you got to start penetrating. But a deep block of 8 right now is going to be hard to penetrate. Saying that, Max Rogers cannot sit on this lead for 45 minutes either. So it's a real interesting tactical matchup right now between 2 coaches that, based on their decisions with their reserves, could alter this game one way or the other. Denny Cruz went to his bench already saying, hey, I got to stem the tide on our right side, on their left side where they've been productive. I'm going to make a change here. Sooner or later, he's going to say, I got to make a change to get us something more going forward as well. And the unfortunate thing is Lancaster's not available.
Mentioned in the first half a few times, Cameron Lancaster picked up a knock on Friday in training. And the PR staff for Louisville suggesting he should be available for upcoming matches, but not for today. Jorge Gonzalez also had a bit of a setback at Tulsa. Just didn't respond well to the game action, so he may be out for a little while longer. Attacking player came in from Portland on loan. So a handful of changes for Louisville in the 18, with George Davis hopping back in. Antoine Hopino is available, so is Jimmy McLaughlin.
Matsosa, or Matsoso, I think it is another option too. Oof.
Whistle there has McMahon trudging away solemnly. Arteaga's had a rough go of it today. Does have the goal, but has certainly paid a pretty notable price.
Indy picks their spots well, Mike, when they press, like they do right here, and force the turnover. They sit deep if they are not comfortable in pressing high, absorb pressure, but when they go, they do a very good job.
Return to Nick Law. Slot out Ioze.
Lots of minutes left in this game, obviously, to change the outcome of this game. You'll probably see not as many goals because Indy 11 is going to lock things down, and Lou City's got to just go for broke sooner or later, which makes the game a little bit more hectic, I think. The patience right now is still part of their build-up, without a doubt. Gibson always so good sitting in front of his back 4, spraying balls, mostly sideways. I would like for him to play more vertical if he can, and find the Ombies of the world out of deep positions. But there's something to be said to keep possession and keep the ball moving, as they
Gibson,
do that.
excellent. He's listening to the coaching. McCabe. Hackshaw. Picked off by McMahon. Slides it out. Ownby. Open header, and Gregg didn't get that right. Hackshaw and Ownby. This will be a goal kick in those two. Walk away with smiles remarkably. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, Brian Dunseth, and the new USL All Access every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM FC, channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. You get on there, I assume, quite a bit with the Inter Miami radio broadcast, right?
Yeah, we did yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to do some stuff for CBS Golazo HQ as well.
Buddy, for everybody. You're fortunate to do some stuff for all the people.
which is a good thing in our business.
Yeah, yes it is. Sort of a purple tint that's established off the stands on the right hand of Lynn Family Stadium, with the sun setting in a picturesque fashion down on the Estopinal end.
And that's the guy who you want to get more involved over. He's been quiet, Corbin Bone. So active in the first half, always looking for the ball. And obviously, you look at Max Rogers, he said, you know what, if we can deny Bone the ball in that middle third, or that attacking third in particular, where he's so elusive and where he always makes the right decisions, that's a good thing right now.
Ownby. Ownby. Gomez. Gomez there. And Edwards has had to make another stop. Corner coming for Louisville, and Jonathan Gomez suddenly has a taste for goals.
Yeah, and it starts with Corbin Bone floating around, and eventually they find Ownby. Then they find the overlapping Gomez on the left side, and he's trying to go near post in that one. Not sure if there were trailers there, Mike. Can he cut the ball back maybe to one or two guys that ghosting into the 18-yard box? Good
Gomez.
Sequence.
Yeah, he's been on one tonight. Vivify corner kick for Niall McCabe. All the way to the back post, diving effort through. Tosh was trying to rise up for it. Del Piccolo was diving.
And Tosh has a real good look at that one. He goes near post. What a good ball in, by the way, over the first defender. That's a brilliant ball. And I think it was Tosh that just couldn't make contact on that one, because that's just a yes, sir, and it's in the back of the net. Both teams outstanding in their service through the run of play, but also in dead ball situations, causing all sorts of problems.
Arteaga over Sharpie.
And you can clearly see right now how Indy 11 has dropped into 4-5-1, Mike. You see really Arteaga really high, both wingers, Wilde and Law in deeper positions. There comes Wilde right now, making it a midfield 5. And that becomes very hard to penetrate. So speed of play becomes important right now. Moving the ball right or left and trying to find little seams centrally where you can exploit this team.
A lot of black shirts in the penalty area, Gibson.
But if they're stationary, Mike, that's okay, actually. Because that's easier to defend. Right now, a lot of numbers, yes, but a lot of stationary numbers.
Ricochet finds Gomez on the cutback ball, and we met. Out to Wilde.
And that's where the danger's be coming from right now. The overlapping Gomez twice in, just couldn't convert on the final pass or final strike at goal. And now important for Indy to retain when they get possession, not to turn it over like they've done here. Balance shifting clearly towards Lou City.
Indy Indy 11 coming off a well-worked win against Sporting Kansas City 2. They've trailed twice tonight. Took the lead in the 41st minute through Manuel Arteaga. Another goal here on the road almost feels like a must. The way this is beginning to open up, Louisville's attacking pressure has grown. An interim coach taking over for Martin Rennie, the longest tenured coach in franchise history, stepping away. Gomez. Law. Hackshaw. I'm not sure we've seen Kyle Gregg touch the ball effectively in this game yet.
No, we haven't.
He's a guy who could be quiet for 88 minutes and bag you the game winner, but
do you have the patience, Denny Cruz, to wait 88 minutes? I doubt it. That's where I would make a change, Mike. That number 9 position, you're absolutely right. Out wide, they've been stellar. Got a lot of crosses in.
Gomez. Bone weaving. Be a goal kick. Think about trying to make a change. Lancaster picks up the knock Friday. He's out. Realistically, in terms of true out-and-out number 9s,
they don't have anybody.
Jorge Gonzalez is out. You're dealing with Abdou Jean being out.
You got wingers as forwards on this list right now. You're absolutely right.
So are you playing a false 9? Or are you playing a? I mean, it's.
Let's see how good Denny Cruz is. Because that's a tough puzzle, and that's why he might want to ride Greg Dunn a lot longer, Mike, in the circumstance that you just explained to us.
And everybody you talk to about Kyle Gregg says he is an absolute workhorse. Can't argue that point. He's certainly scored goals in this league at a clip that's kept him around for a long time. That is a helicoptering tackle. Arteaga's been on the give and the take. And again, we've seen really good sportsmanship between the two teams, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it certainly is, because that was a big collision as well, and clearly somebody just played the man, not the ball.
There will be substitutes, but it won't be now. Fifth, third free kick. Now McCabe toward Tosh. Bounces down. Nobody seemed to know where that landed. And now the substitutions will flow. That's Jordan Hamilton, who was twice a goal scorer from the penalty spot last time these teams met. Manuel Arteaga, for now, holds the game-winning goal. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. And then Peter Lee Vassell will replace Ioze.
Yeah, and that's, in my opinion, a great change. I know Jordan Hamilton quite well when I was the academy director at Toronto FC, where he came through the system. Great pace, get away from people. When you're absorbing pressure right now, which Indy is doing, because they're leading, obviously, the chances on the counter are going to be there. And Hamilton is a guy that can get away from people.
And then Peter Lee Vassell, the Jamaican international, will replace Ioze, who gives an hour tonight. To your point, Hamilton scored 11 goals for Toronto FC in MLS, an additional 17 for Toronto FC 2 in the championship, and some time in Columbus as well. And you also, if memory served, coached Tyler Pasher a little bit in that job, right?
Yeah.
Former Indy 11 man.
Just Tyler Pasher is the Canadian version of Denny Cruz.
Okay.
Two tough customers.
I wasn't ready for that, but well put.
That you want to have on your team, I'm telling you. Great in the locker room, great in practice, driving their teammates and themselves. Brilliant.
This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
That's funny you bring that up, Mike, actually. Tyler Pasher, oh my God. I'm getting texts right now from Juan Guerra and guys that coached and Love, actually. All the good guys. That includes Pasher and Denny Cruz, Del Piccolo, Gordon Bone, Brian Omby.
They're saying, Rongan, enough of this CBS stuff. Come do more games in the championship, boss. That's Thomas Rongan, Mike Watts as well. Indy holding on to a 3-2 advantage, and they can climb right up next to Louisville in the Central Division standings. Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, the site of this latest chapter in the Lipa FC rivalry. This will split to the opposite side for Gomez, who's been a monster for really the last half hour or so of this game. Bagged a goal around the 15th minute as well. Del Piccolo slices, seeking McCabe. Skitters back out. Bone on the dribble, around Law. This will run past Omby. McMahon.
Very deliberate build-up again. Trying to find eventually springing those attacking fullbacks. McMahon this time just not converting well because there's good numbers in the box and there's movement as well. So the final pass needs to get better. You look at Gomez now in the opposite side. McMahon coming in twice. It's just executing that final ball. Mike is key right now for success of Lou City.
Vassell.
Yeah, that's what Indy's trying to do right now. When we get it, let's try to keep it. Force them to make a run and let that clock tick. The clock is in our favor, guys.
Driven forward, Vassell now for Hamilton, and a little miscommunication. Possession in the first half was 58-42. In the second half right now, it is 68-32 in favor of Louisville.
Yeah, to be expected, without a doubt. Team that's down and at home has to force the issue, quite frankly, which they've done well. Saying that, they haven't created a lot of great opportunities. Late tackle there by Vassell that just came in, who's got a lot of energies, catches Gomez and puts Gomez with a cultivated left foot in a good position to bring the ball in, and that's just not smart. Yeah, you get a piece of the ball, but you go through Gomez, that's 100% foul.
It feels like Gomez has had the ability to do a slow motion cutback at whatever time he wants. And if you're Vassell, you've just come into the game, you've probably got a long line of credit. That might not be the worst foul in the world if you're trying to buzz a 17-year-old that's playing at an extraordinary level.
Yeah, great point, Mike.
Vassell, the 23-year-old Jamaican, has already capped over a dozen times the Reggae Boys. Ball across here, McCabe. Comes back out the other way. Goal scorer Cammie Smith, the header, and now forcing McCabe back.
Yeah, Cochran, Moon, Heckshaw, Timmer done a great job in the second half, but just say, you know what, not over my dead body right now. Let's attack every first and second ball, which they've done actually. Now it's up to Denny Cruz and his boys.
That's it there for Omby, a bit too far.
First time they've been able to turn around the back four and try to get behind them, which is very tough. When you have a low block, it's got to be a perfect ball to Brian Omby that just falls for him. If not, it will runs out of bounds.
Now McCabe's number is going to be up on the board here for Louisville in a moment. Let's remind you of what's coming up here for Louisville City. The upcoming schedule is brought to you by COSAIR Charities. Help a child in our community now. COSAIR.org/donate. SKC2. Next match, you'll see it precisely where you're watching right now. Omby. Runs back, clipped across, a little touch. Del Piccolo hasn't wound up on a shot yet, but does have a goal, and it's been plenty dangerous. Changes here, so that's Del Piccolo off and Masoso on. And then Hopino is set to come on. He'll replace Niall McCabe. Those subs are brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond.
Yeah, and we talked about both players not too long ago, where Danny Cruz has to make some decisions up front now and get some maybe more mobility. He doesn't have another true number 9 because of Cameron Lancaster's injury, so he's going to try with an Hoppenot, who's got some pace to burn as well, that can run at people, can get it at you off the dribble.
That's now 3 changes and 1 window used, so Louisville can use their last 2 subs any way they'd like. They made 1 at halftime. Gomez. Hopino. We met. Hopino and Moon. Those two getting together. Welcome to the Thunderdome. And that slide by Hopino, he's gone into the book in about a minute's time. He clearly got some of the ball, but then there's the question whether or not this should be a Vivify yellow card.
Yeah, I can only imagine when you come in at this stage of the game, you want to make a difference. He plays a poor ball in, tries to recover that one, and yes, he gets a piece of the ball, but he also gets a piece of the opponent. So it's the correct call, and also a yellow card, in my opinion.
He certainly got plenty of both.
He did.
The way the player went down, you would certainly think so, but at some point we'll be able to glance back at that. Either way, Vassell. Gomez going in, and you can tell the energy, especially in the tackles for Louisville, is intensified.
Yes, it is, absolutely. You're at home, 20 minutes left, down 3-2, and sometimes the emotions take over a little bit. 2 changes for Indy. Fresh legs right now become important for both teams.
So that's Patrick Segrist, who Inter Miami acquired for a 3rd-round pick and some GAM from New York Red Bulls, and then instantly loaned for the season to Indy 11. And Gershon Kolfi, who spent time in New England and Vancouver for stints overseas in Sweden, Kuwait, Israel. Subs are brought to you by MHS Global. Gordon Wilde did have a couple of those runs down the right-hand side that were dangerous, and a handful of dragging runs across the 18. But he wasn't exactly a game wrecker in this game.
No, he wasn't. But those 2 positions out wide, Mike, you know, are very demanding. And I think it's smart, probably taking out your 7 and your 11, so to speak. But have to do a lot of defensive responsibilities, and that's a hard tackle again against Moon.
Kofi's arguing that should be a card. Moon reaching down to his right leg, and
seems to be in tremendous distress.
Serious pain.
Yeah, this is interesting right now. What is gamesmanship? What is not? Corbin Bowen says, hey, get up. There's nothing wrong with you. Let's go. And there is not much, actually. He steps on his foot a little bit. It hurts. Maybe it hurts a little bit more, but he seems to be okay. And Bowen is going, hey, I'm a small guy. You're a big guy. You going down?
What I'd give right now to have those 2 mic'd up.
Exactly.
Vassell. Hubbard tried to get that away. Kofi, that's knocked away from the line. Bone. as far as Vassell. Still for Moon. That's away by Tosh. Well, if Louisville gets a point tonight, they will likely look at that as an inflection point. And Edwards just sent that to another zip code.
Now the game has really opened up. Two good opportunities, even better saves by Hubbard. That's the first one. And then he gets back up again. Oh, it's not Hubbard. I think it comes off a player.
I think it's Gibson.
Yeah, it's Gibson actually that stands there as well, but huge, obviously, to stay at 3-2. Give yourself a chance.
And Tosh, meanwhile.
Yeah, that's the rivalry right there, baby. It's not a rivalry if there's no blood.
True enough. I guess he'll just play that way.
Yeah, Tosh. This is normally my neighborhood when I grew up.
Tosh is going to have to run.
Well done, by the way, because Hamilton's got some juice. Good recovery speed.
He's victimized on the first penalty against Indy. Vassell catching Gomez. There's going to be a card here to Vassell. And that
there's
some second card here to an Indy player. It is the 4th overall. It's brought to you by Vivify.
There's some real gamesmanship going on right now. Vassell was brought in to stop Gomez, who's been the most dangerous player in the first 50 minutes as well. And I could see what Max Rogers is telling him. Hey, get in his face, be aggressive, don't let him get behind you. That's what Vassell is doing. And on the other side, stretch him, make him work.
5th third free kick in the 75th minute for Corbin Bone. Options galore here if you do want to lay this off. Bone, that ain't it. Him off of Hamilton. That appeared to hit Hamilton on the hand. Bit of friendly fire. Gomez playing quickly. There's Hopino. That goes up high, caught Ouimet.
It's getting a little insane right now.
Yeah.
And should be.
Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Dr. Mark Lennon Associates Man of the Match. Poll will be open the next few minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/Lou City. And you see it, 10,927
awesome.
Lynn Family Stadium tonight.
Awesome.
The official capacity is about 11,500. Standing room, you could argue that you're going to get right up against the...
And what a treat, by the way, Mike.
Yeah, 15,000.
What a game.
Several hundred Indy 11 fans packing a section up in the upper deck.
That's a rivalry. That's a derby. That's a classic one.
Corner, Edwards.
Both goalkeepers come up strong in that second half to keep the scoreline at 3-2 right now. You get a 75th minute, and Denny Cruz is probably going to say, guys, we got to be a little bit more direct now. All right, let's get some balls in there. Let's see if we can find second phase attacks as well. Because the methodical, slow build-up with all those numbers behind the ball is going to be very tough for Louisville to create any really good opportunities.
Well, that's a bit of an unforced error in theory. So kept in by McMahon, who sets a bit of a screen himself. This all could have been nullified a moment ago. We'll see now what Sharpie can do. McMahon by Sharpie, and now screams by Omby. Gomez lashes, bounces down, and ripped away by Timmer.
Yeah, that triangle of the two center backs and Timmer in front of him done a great job and not allowing anything to go in there. And if it does come in there, they clear it.
The Bermuda Triangle of sorts. Again, Gomez cuts this back. Was right behind Hopino. Vassell Perhaps a bit too cute with it. Hopino. Vassell did well to get a piece. Hopino rolls. Ownby settles. Back heel. Rips off of Hopino. Appeal for a handball. Continues through Moon. Rungan, you a hockey fan? Because it's starting to feel that way.
It does feel that way, without a doubt. Lightning, Montreal, is that what the final is?
It is.
Thank you.
Something, something, Champa Bay, something, something. Ownby. Ownby the cross! Bone! And we're level!
Leading up to this match, and during this match, we've talked about Brian Ownby, and we've talked about obviously one of the better players in this league for many, many years, which is Corbin Bone. Very similar to the first goal that Piccolo scores. Ownby gets end line, just plays a ball hard across the goal mouth, and then from deep, Corbin Bone gets in front of his defender. The slight deflection, no chance at the near post. Well executed with 3-3. What a game.
Second little back heel goal scored by a man scoring the captain's armband. Del Piccolo scored it early. Bone now. Sub is brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. They've announced this Brian Ownby in the stadium. It appeared that took some deflection there. We'll try and get to something official. Hard to imagine that got by Edwards with no touch at all.
But as we talked about that first goal when Piccolo made that good run and Ownby just puts the ball across the goal mouth. So many things can happen, Mike. And yes, it could be a ricochet. It could be coming off Bone against somebody else and goes there as well. It's just very hard to defend those balls coming in.
Fired up toward the penalty area. Louisville led 1-0 and 2-1. Indy led 3-2. Another equalizer. Now Gomez. Holding his run. Did Bone stay on side? He didn't.
And he's looking at Gomez going, play that just a little bit quicker, but wow. What an engine Gomez has, by the way. Wins the ball in his defensive third, goes forward and is down right now. After he played the ball, he got caught.
Something there doesn't really feel right.
But what a match of this young player on that left side. Ownby now with 2 assists in this game as well. Bone coming to life in the second half. 6 goals. What else do we need?
A 7th.
You're so selfish. And a well-played game. Look at Denny Cruz still coaching, always up, always encouraging his team, and they've responded well. I mean, twice, 3 times actually in the 11 comes back and takes the lead, and out of response of Denny Cruz's team to go back to 3-3. I think both coaches right now are saying, well done, boys.
Bone. Hackshaw. Timmer. And I'm sure both coaches are thinking it's there for the taking.
Absolutely. There is still a goal in this game somewhere, I think. And fresh legs have made some difference on both sides. That was Kofi being brought down. Marcel's being hard against Gomez.
Indy won the first meeting, 2-1, 2 penalties. Goal from Corbin Bone. That was less than a month ago, and here we are now, end of June. Massive 3 points on the line. Stadium rocking. Del Piccolo, Gomez, and Bone have scored for Louisville. Goals for Smith, Hackshaw, and Arteaga for Indy, all in the first half. Opino. There goes Gomez. Back for Gibson. You know, at some point we need to look at Jonathan Gomez not through the lens of this kid's 17, but through the lens of Tree called him up a month ago. The U.S. just put him on the provisional roster for the Gold Cup. And I can't underscore to fans who think maybe you're talking about this kid too much. It's very possible we're not talking about him enough.
I agree with you, Mike. He's an exceptional talent for his age, absolutely. But I haven't seen a better left fullback in any league, for that matter, in the United States the last 3 months. He defends well. He goes forward exceptionally well. He's got an engine which is unbelievable. He's very cultivated and very composed and plays well beyond his years in terms of field awareness and soccer IQ. Those are important things recognized by the Mexican national team and recognized by our national team as well. That doesn't just follow MLS and knows there's good players, very good players in this league as well. This young gentleman right here, proof and point, and that battle between Mexico and the U.S. will continue, has been there for many years, vying for talented players. I'll be very interested to see what happens when that final roster is being announced for either team, for that matter, and if Gomez is part of it. And if he's not part of it, that doesn't mean he's not a good player. He excels.
Ownby. Oh, it's Greg! Right at Edwards. We said, would it take 88 minutes? It took 85. Finally got one on target, and Edwards just took a bullet to the chest.
Great shot, Mike. One of the reasons why you convinced me not to take him out, actually. I would have made that change, but because of the lack of number 9s and the ability for him to be there late in a game, that's a great opportunity, though, for number 9 that he normally should put away. And Danny Cruz is having faith as well by keeping a tall, big man up front in there for that reason. He just needs one.
Sub here, Moon off. And that's Reese Buckmaster coming on. Sub brought to you by MHS Global.
Interesting that the whole right side has been removed for the only reason because Mr. Gomez has torn them apart, by the way. Kofi in for Wilde and Moon out now as well. That's your right winger and your right back.
Hit on the first time, not there for Cammy Smith. I've seen, thinking back to Tyler Pasher last year, the performances he had early in the season. I remember vividly hearing about Danny Rivera of Pittsburgh man-marking, which Bob Lilly man-marks nobody. Tyler Pasher, and it's felt that way with Jonathan Gomez, where he's individually imploded the opposition in key moments. Bone tried to swing his leg back and pull that through.
Let's be real honest. I mean, if you look at where we still need to get better, and there's the counter again with Hamilton and Vassell. But who's our starting number 9 come World Cup time for the U.S.? Who is the guy next to Jonathan Brooks as the second center back? And who are our left and right backs? Is it Serginho Dest playing on the left as a right-footed player? So that's what Greg Berhalter is looking at. We're not very deep in those positions, and then Gomez might get a chance somewhere down the line, which is brilliant.
If you remember, Canada called in Mark-Anthony Kaye in the 2017 Gold Cup.
Yep.
And a year later was at LAFC. That's your man of the match, Jonathan Gomez. It's presented by Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates. And he scored and he went over to the corner flag. He put his hands out, call it zen. There's a calmness to this young man. You wouldn't blame him if he is simply gassed at this point. And he took that knock to the chest. Referee and Danny Cruz going at it as well. No hydration breaks here. There's 2.5 minutes left in regulation, but I argue stoppage time. There should be a few minutes, but nothing extraordinary.
Very impressed by this game, Mike. And then you've done both teams more often than I do. Well executed, good game plan by both coaches. Sound technical players in all positions. Good game plan. 6 goals. What else do you want?
Here he is, Gomez, racing downfield. Gomez drives. Penalty looks, that's a goal kick, nothing more. Gomez and Ouimet are having words. And the referee is pushing Ouimet away. Now Edwards and Hopino. Hopino's still with Cochran. Vassell and Hackshaw are pursuing alongside Buckmaster.
And again, you can't say enough about Gomez, who still stays here. It looks like a potential penalty maybe. He goes down, gets back up again. There's a handball, and then there is some jawing towards him. And then the referee comes in actually and physically manhandles 2 or 3 players. I rarely see that, but man.
So I can confirm that they just viewed that exact replay you just saw on the scoreboard at the stadium. And, well, that didn't exactly get a very warm reception. We're into the 90th minute now. Could this game have any more twists and turns? Ball ahead. Vassell is offside. Vassell rips that into the net, but it won't count.
Pretty amazing, Mike, that we're looking at almost the 90th minute. And anytime both teams go forward, you almost feel a sense of something will happen. Pretty dramatic.
Here's Gomez. Rolls outside. Hopino dances, crosses over Omby. Ball drops down, cleared away. As far as Sharpie. Masoso. Masoso again, Bone. It will take stoppage time if we are to determine a winner tonight. 5 additional minutes. It's brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. As far as Hamilton, he went down, play continues. Masoso toward Hopino. The slide to hook it back. And that had to be perfect from Sharpie, and it was.
Great execution right there to keep possession alive at the back heel of your center back.
Louisville led by a goal twice. Omby. This deflects away, and it'll come back out. Louisville led 1-0, 2-1. Indy led 3-2. Indy last scored in the 41st. Louisville found their equalizer through Corbin Bone back in the 79th. McMahon, Ownby. Bone for Ownby. Appeal for a handball as that got high up off Segrist. Enough time for Tosh to tie his shoes. Ball floated ahead. Over Ownby. Gomez. I've got to give credit to Gomez for getting after that, because otherwise I'm not sure Buckmaster's sliding that out.
In the 11, just absorbing so much pressure right now, keeping Hamilton as the only outlet up front. Unfortunately, both center backs are just being able to win every 50-50, keep and maintain possession. But just now in that final third, they can't just find anybody in a good position to win this game.
The overload on the left, so Ownby will try out right. McMahon, who came on as a halftime substitute. Ownby here. This battle again with Hackshaw. There's the service up for Greg. Tosh. Nothing there for Colfie to get it away. Tosh again for Masoso. And that is off into the bleachers.
Yeah, and he claimed it came off somebody or not. Masoso had a good look there with a great ball being driven in. Actually can't connect, get it in goal, and time is on the side of Indy right now. Get your lines up, go long and direct, fight for the first and second ball, and see this game out. Because I think before the game, you would probably say 3-3 on the road in a hostile environment. We'll sign off on this.
This rivalry, it becomes so lopsided. Ball ahead. Greg looking to find it, and we met. Offset back out toward the halfway line. It was 10 on the bounce without a win for Indy. 1,120 days.
Wow.
Indy picked up that 2-1 win just weeks later after a disheartening run of results. Martin Rennie and the club mutually part ways. So Indy's got a new coach. He's looking for a marquee win early on, but at this point he may take a marquee point on the road. Throw here with 75 seconds left. Max Rogers looks on. Yellow card to Buckmaster.
Wasting time. That's what Denny Cruz right there in the bottom of your screen is trying to tell the referee, hey.
It's a vivify yellow card. He's probably saying, well, if you carry the one, that's another minute, right? Omby. Good effort in by Cochran.
Cochran's been stellar, by the way, throughout this game. Strong in the air, good in his tackles. Don't give any fouls away. Modern center back.
McMahon. Maybe one look here for Louisville. Indy trying to hold on to this point. Holpino. Holpino! There's Edwards. It's too high for Greg. And is that enough for Indy, who certainly wanted all three come the 75th minute? But the way the last 20 minutes have gone, would likely settle for the one. Throw Louisville. Is there time? Everybody forward now. Holpino again. Gomez. Gomez went down. Vassell. If you can get this to midfield, that'd be enough. And, well, that is it. 3-3. The crowd will show their frustration. Perhaps there were chances for Louisville to go ahead late, but Indy 11, 2 equalizers and a go-ahead goal, a tremendous back-and-forth performance. 3-3 in the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest.
Brilliant, and a just result at the end of the day. A lot of respect on both sides, you can see right here. Hard-fought game by two inexperienced coaches that put their teams in positions to win. 6 goals, the draw though, the justified result.
Let's take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places.
Yeah, it's Mr. Omby going end line with pace and then pulling the ball back, and then the back heel by Piccolo. Well-deserved move of the game.
Del Piccolo, the opening goal. Now a look at the good hand save of the game. It's presented by Allstate, and mission accomplished there from both Gibson and initially Hubbard.
Yeah, absolutely. Hubbard comes off his line strong, stays with it, and then the big bodies, strong bodies that you have to be, kept that second shot out as well.
Well, what a party this was. Nearly 11,000 paid to see it. And what an outstanding advertisement this was for this rivalry, for this league. Gorski Law Office postgame when we return.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport is proud to welcome Breeze Airways with 3 nonstop flights to Charleston, Tampa, and New Orleans.
By the middle of the summer, we'll be in 15 cities. Really desirable, cool cities like Charleston, Tampa, New Orleans. And with fares, get this, starting at only $39. Chances are we can get you there twice as fast for half the price. Welcome to Breeze, everybody. Come aboard.
Welcome back. It's purple and red skies overhead and a 3-3 draw. Tremendous. Gorski Law Office postgame. Mike Watts, Thomas Rongen. The fans from Indy got certainly their money's worth, and so too did all the loyal Louisville supporters. Dan O's seasoning game summary. We go all the way back to when they were still light. Ownby, Del Piccolo, 6th minute, 1-0.
Yeah, anytime you drive end line, you get a good hard crossing with a good run by Piccolo. That is always good. 1-0.
Tremendous assist, a little back heel. Louisville would go ahead. Cammy Smith, the response in the 9th minute, his first for Indy 11.
Heckshaw with a great cross, met well by the running from Deep Smith. Good response to get back to 1-1. Brilliant execution.
Hackshaw gets an assist here, his first of the season. He wouldn't be done. More on that in a moment. Jonathan Gomez scored his first pro goal last time out against FC Tulsa. He thought, why not? This will deflect off Carl Ouimet by Edwards. 2-1 Louisville.
I got time and space, and again, the awareness of this young player. I got time and space. You know what? I'm going to let it fly, and good things will happen. Yes, it does. 2-1.
This kid can't even buy a lottery ticket yet. However, he picks up a goal in the 14th, 2-1. Nebule Hackshaw, that is tremendous. The ball from Moon and the finish in the 20th.
Yeah, second phase attack that kept his ball alive after he hit a corner as well. Serves it in, that right fullback to his left fullback. Moon, Hackshaw with the finish, 2-2.
And then the go-ahead goal before halftime. Manuel Arteaga, the Venezuelan, give and go, worked with Cammy Smith. 3-2.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's very productive to give and go. If you don't stay with the runner, you're dead. That's what Arteaga does. Boom. Looks at it, goes far post side netting, and we're up 3-2.
Indy 11 taking the lead into the locker room with Arteaga, hoping that's the game winner. As we go into the second half of play, Louisville out in front of both their supporters, Scouse's house, and the Indy supporters looking right down the line. Bone in the 79th.
Brilliant. This time Ownby doesn't go end line, Mike. He goes early. He knows the run from Bone is there near post, getting away from his marker. Ahead of him, just a little deflection, and that's 3-3.
Well, this is one for the Purple family to savor, that equalizing goal. The Brickyard Battalion gets something for their efforts, too. 3-3, CNL Heating and Air full-time statistics. Chance for your final thoughts, Thomas.
Entertaining game for the neutrals, and even the home team or the away team. 6 goals. What do you want? Competitive. The rivalry continues since 1860. It's been there.
I mean,
love that.
Louisville will go away to Sporting Kansas City 2 on July the 2nd. That's their next match. Indy 11's next match will be at the Mike on July the 3rd, Independence Day weekend. 6 goals. What a seesaw roller coaster game. And good to the very last drop. For our entire Vista WorldLink crew, led by producer Ava Ponte, director Chelsea Kisela, Andrew Quinones, Thomas Rongan alongside Mike Watts, saying so long from Louisville, where it was as good as we've ever seen it. The Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.